This is how Dunzo was killed because of Reliance. By 2022, Dunzo had mastered hyperlocal delivery and it was expanding into quick commerce or 10-minute delivery as well. So seeing Dunzo's meteoric rise, Reliance invested $200 million and picked up a majority stake. And that also gave Reliance a crucial veto power over all future decisions. However, by 2023, just 1 year after the investment, Dunzo looked like a completely different company. Its experiment with quick commerce was a huge failure. It was not even able to pay salaries and it urgently needed more funding if it were to survive. But when it asked Reliance for another round of just $20 million, Ambani said no. And then Reliance used its veto and didn't allow Kabir, Dunzo's founder, to raise funds from any other investor either. Now, Reliance is India's largest retailer and it had about 11,000 crores in cash as of March 2024, an amount which would put large VC funds to shame. So throwing Dunzo a lifeline of $20 million or 160 crore rupees was peanuts for Reliance. But Reliance sat back and watched. Many speculated that Reliance was doing it on purpose so it could acquire Dunzo at a much lower valuation, similar to how it acquired Urban Ladder at just 15% of its peak valuation in 2020. So it looks like it was Reliance who left Dunzo to die. Right. But let's back up a little bit. Before refusing the $20 million in July 2023, Reliance did participate in a $75 million fundraise by Dunzo in April 2023. And instead of gaining more control to acquire it, Reliance had already started distancing itself from Dunzo in 2023. If Reliance really wanted to kill Dunzo, they would not have done that. And it wasn't just Reliance. Dunzo held talks for acquisitions with Zomato, Tata and Flipkart, but all of them refused. Because by 2023, Dunzo was an extremely troubled company with extremely bad unit economics. They spent 9 rupees to earn every single rupee in FY 2023. So how did Dunzo go from the king of hyperlocal delivery to one of the most spectacular startup failure stories in India in just 1 year? Well, to find out the answer, let's look at how Dunzo got here in the first place. Dunzo was started by Kabir Biswas back in 2014. Initially, it was just a WhatsApp group where Kabir used to provide local delivery services, picking up items from one place and delivering them to another. And this was a very new concept in 2014 when even Zomato and Swiggy were just starting with food delivery in India. Initially, Kabir even used to do the deliveries himself, and then eventually he built a platform with Dunzo delivery riders. So Dunzo continued to grow and became extremely popular in Bangalore, where it became a verb for delivering stuff from one place to another. People used to Dunzo it. Therefore, in 2017, seeing its popularity, Google made its first direct startup investment in India in Dunzo. However, despite the popularity, there was one problem. Dunzo's revenue and growth were quite low. Even after the lockdown boost, Dunzo did just about 45 crores in revenue in FY 2021 compared to Swiggy's 2500 crores and Zomato's 2000 crores. Because hyperlocal delivery had a very low usage frequency. People needed something picked up or dropped off only once or twice a month. And for crazy growth, Dunzo had to offer something that people needed daily. So in August 2021, Dunzo decided to launch Dunzo Daily, where you could get groceries and essentials delivered in 19 minutes. Now, this was at a time when Zepto was only 1 month old, Blinkit was still called Grofers and did next day deliveries, and Swiggy's Instamart was launched just a few months ago, offering deliveries in 45 minutes. So Dunzo was one of the first movers in this space. Now, initially, it just partnered with local retailers and kirana stores, earning just from the deliveries. However, if you want stuff delivered in 10 minutes, everything has to work like clockwork. And if you need higher profit margins, you need to cut out the middleman stores and sell directly to customers. So Dunzo started opening its own dark stores, small warehouses which stack about 2000 items that you need every single day. And just like that, Dunzo became one of the first movers in this space. However, the competition started heating up very quickly. In June 2022, Swiggy and Zepto raised millions, while Grofers was rebranded to Blinkit and acquired by Zomato. And then there were other players like Ola Dash and JioMart Express as well. So quick commerce became the hottest startup sector, attracting billions of dollars from excited VC funds. And as one of the frontrunners, Dunzo also managed to get an investment of $240 million in January 2022. But more important than the amount was who that money came from. Out of the $240 million, $200 million came from Reliance, which now became the largest shareholder in the company. And as I said earlier, it got a veto right to block any company decision in the future. Now, it's important to understand here that this wasn't a usual investment from Ambani. Reliance's move to invest in Dunzo was a very strategic strategic move. See, Reliance had its own ambitions for grocery delivery in the form of JioMart, and for that it needed a large network of hyper-local delivery partners. So instead of building a delivery network from scratch, Ambani thought it would save him a lot of time if they just partnered with Dunzo. And theoretically, it sounds like a match made in heaven, right? Well, Reliance and Kabir thought so as well. And in this way, with $240 million and the backing of Reliance, Dunzo was arguably the top contender in quick commerce in January 2022. But then, what went so horribly wrong in the next 18 months that Dunzo wasn't even left with money to pay salaries by June 2023. Well, you see, quick commerce turned out to be a very costly gamble because it required Dunzo to set up several dark stores which came at a high capital cost. And on top of that, Dunzo was not the only one to raise funds, as I already explained earlier. Blinkit, Swiggy, Zepto and Big Basket were all spending heavily to acquire new customers. So the competition and marketing costs shot up as well. However, Dunzo's performance was the worst of all these players, and that was because of its financial mismanagement. And here is the perfect example of it. In 2023, Dunzo did a revenue of 226 crores, but its losses ballooned to 1800 crores. Dunzo spent 9 rupees to earn every single rupee in FY 2023. That's how bad it was. Now, it's not that other quick commerce players were not burning money. They were, but it was bringing results. Zepto, for instance, generated almost 9 times Dunzo's revenue at a much lower loss. And if you look deeper, it's very easy to see why. In FY 2023, the year after receiving the funding from Reliance, Dunzo's expenses in all areas went up, which is natural. However, the biggest increment was in this shady others segment, which increased by over 10 times to 820 crores. In fact, this was their largest expense, accounting for almost 40% of their overall expenses, and it includes miscellaneous daily expenses like rent, power, fuel and traveling conveyance. In comparison, Zepto's other expenses last year were just 6%. Now, tracking expenses can be difficult for any company because as you scale, tracking expenses can become exponentially difficult, and that is where you can use Odoo Expenses, which keeps everything organized so you can say goodbye to that envelope of receipts. It is an amazing tool from Odoo which collects all your company's expenses into a single dashboard. Odoo Expenses allows your employees to create records in 4 different ways. They can send an email using expense codes, they can scan in a receipt with their phone, they can drag and drop a receipt into the Expenses app dashboard, or even manually type in an expense from your phone or computer. But the magic really happens in the expense reports that Odoo generates. Instead of submitting individual expenses, you can place all expenses in one report with a single click. And submitting a single report is easier for everyone, particularly for the managers who have to approve the expense reports. They can review the expenses and even add comments while rejecting expenses. So your managers can save a lot of time. But along with that, Odoo Expenses also offers accounting integration, automatically posting expenses in your accounting book. And reimbursement and reinvoicing are a breeze, where you can reimburse employees or reinvoice to clients in just a few clicks. So with Odoo Expenses, you can save your time and improve your financial management. You can use your first Odoo app for free with unlimited hosting and support. So check out Odoo Expenses by using the link in the description. So basically, it was mismanagement where Dunzo simply blew through the money just because it could. The Morning Context reported that Dunzo didn't even have a proper chief financial officer. They simply didn't hire one. Imagine that, a 6,000 crore company without a CFO. Therefore, Dunzo's quick commerce arm was losing 230 rupees on every order in 2022, and it wasn't sustainable. So where even giants like Amazon, JioMart and Ola Dash were failing, Dunzo stood no chance with its poor management. Within 6 months of getting the funds in January 2022, Dunzo started scaling down its quick commerce operations, and by November, it was closing several of its dark stores. And by 2023, it had just 7 dark stores in Bangalore, down from 250 stores at its peak. Now, by the end of 2023, Dunzo had switched its focus back to its core business. It was doing customer-to-customer parcel delivery along with a new vertical named Dunzo for Business. In D4B, it offered delivery services to merchants like Licious and JioMart, and it was actually doing quite well, handling over 30,000 orders per day with 25,000 merchants merchant partners. Kabir even claimed that these logistics and B2B verticals were growing, generating strong revenues. However, by then it was already too late. Dunzo had already spent all its money on its quick commerce fiasco, and even to run D4B and parcel delivery verticals, Dunzo needed money. So now, even after scaling down its quick commerce business, the only way for it to survive was to raise more money. And this was when Reliance came back into the picture. Reliance had been watching silently as Dunzo blew through all the money, and it had lost faith that Dunzo would ever be able to become profitable. So when Dunzo asked for more money, it said no. And when Dunzo tried to raise money from other investors, Reliance blocked the move, because a new fundraise would have lowered Dunzo's valuation to just $200 million, so the value of Reliance's investment in Dunzo would also fall. And besides, Reliance's JioMart Express experiment, for which it needed Dunzo, turned out to be a failure and was shut down in 2023. So Reliance had no interest in Dunzo anymore. Also, the funding winter did not help either. So as a result of all this, Dunzo was left gasping for air. In early 2023, it started delaying salaries. Then there were layoffs throughout the year, which continued well into 2024. By August 2024, it was left with just 50 employees, down from a peak of 1,000 in 2023. During this time, Kabir's 3 co-founders left him as well, as he was left alone to steer through the crisis. He tried to raise funds several times throughout 2023 and 2024, and Reliance even gave it a final chance with a $75 million fundraise in April 2023. But that was not enough. Things went from bad to worse. It even received a legal notice from Google, its second largest investor, demanding payment of unpaid dues for advertising expenses. In total, it owed over 11 crores to ad partners like Google, Facebook, and Glance. And finally, in January this year, Reliance wrote off its investment of $200 million in Dunzo. It was not interested anymore. So whether Reliance was responsible for Dunzo's downfall or not is for you to decide. As for Dunzo's next move, Kabir's strategy is to now find a buyer who is willing to clear Dunzo's debt and liabilities of 600 crores in exchange for control of the company. So what can you learn from this spectacular rise and fall of Dunzo? Well, one is to focus on unit economics and financial discipline. Right from the beginning, Dunzo's financial management was extremely poor, and burning investors' money can only take you so far. So the focus should always be on eventual profitability. Second is that you need to be careful when expanding into a new business. For decades, Reliance was only in the petrochemical sector, and only once it had mastered it did it enter verticals like telecom and retail. Dunzo, on the other hand, entered quick commerce when it was already bleeding. So you need to master your core business before you enter a new one. And finally, it is to choose your partners wisely. Reliance always had its own strategic agenda in mind, which was JioMart. In fact, JioMart Express was a direct competitor of Dunzo Daily. So money alone should not be the sole criteria. It's equally important where that money is coming from. If you want to launch your own D2C store, check out the link to my Ecom Masterclass in the description below. Like and subscribe here, and follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram using the links in the description. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.